Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Kodanitai Maya Poshashi, Kodanitai Jaya Maya Poshashi. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev. ISKCON Guruvinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shishi Kodanitai Maya Poshashi ki jai, Gantra Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Gaura Premanandi. Rita, could you bring us my flask, please? Just there. So we're reading, first of all, we read from the Nectar of Devotion. Thank you, Rasamrita. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this is the section, Evidence Regarding Devotional Principles. And this one is accepting initiation from the spiritual master and receiving instructions from him. Shishiko Nitai Mai Pashashiki Jai. So, Sage Prabhupada continued to speak to the king as follows. My dear king, a disciple has to accept the spiritual master, not only as spiritual master, but also as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Super Soul. In other words, the disciple should accept the spiritual master as God, because he is the external manifestation of Krishna. This is confirmed in every scripture. And the disciple should accept the spiritual master as such. One should learn Srimad Bhagvatam seriously and with all respect and veneration for the spiritual master. Hearing and speaking Srimad Bhagvatam is the religious process which elevates one to the platform of serving and loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The attitude of the disciple should be to satisfy the bona fide spiritual master. Then it will be very easy for him to understand spiritual knowledge. This is confirmed in the Vedas, and Rupa Goswami will further explain that a person who has unflinching faith in God and the spiritual master, everything becomes revealed very easily. So at the end, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is saying that the disciple should be, the attitude of the disciple should be to satisfy the bona fide spiritual master. So it may be that during the course of his career as a disciple, he realizes the spiritual master isn't bona fide. So his duty is to find a bona fide spiritual master. Sometimes you don't know. It takes time to work out who the bona fide spiritual master is. Especially if you're a neophyte, if you're a Kanishta, and you're still going through the stage of Anatanavriti, then it's difficult to see who the Satguru is. Just as for Bhavajanati of Apasasta Dosha. Rupa Goswami also explains that we can tell who the spiritual master is not by his complexion or where he's born or whether he has a nice dhoti on or his aftershave smells nice, but by his devotional service, which in ISKCON means by his allegiance to Srila Prabhupada. If he's out with what Srila Prabhupada is doing, then according to ISKCON standards, he's not a bona fide spiritual master. He may be considered that somewhere else, but not in ISKCON. You're bona fide if you're aligned with Prabhupada, and if you're out with Prabhupada in the GBC, then you lose your guruship. Just thought I'd mention that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So you've all missed the most exciting part. We just had Lord Nrsingadev rip open Hiranyakashipu. Now he's calming down. There's 9 forms of Lord Nrsingadev: Ugram, Aviram, Mahavijnam, Jwalantam, Sarvatomakam, Nisingam, Vishnam, Bhadram, Micham, Namamyam. We offer our respects to the 9 forms, which you can find in Ahobalam, where Lord Nrsingadev appeared from the column. When he first came out the column, he was Ugram. He was terribly, terribly, terribly ferocious. And so the demigods now are trying to pacify him. But he's also angry at the demigods because they didn't try to help Prahlad. So it's not until Prahlad steps forward that then he starts to go into his other features. He calls out from Ugaram, Viram, Mahavijnam, and eventually Richam, he starts giving out benedictions. Death of death personified. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, which is entitled, The Lord Slays the King of the Demons. And we're on text 48. Shri Manava Uchu Manavo Vayam Tava Nideshikarino Diti Jainas Deva Paribhuta Setava Bhavata Kala Sa Upasam Rita Prabho Karavama Takem Anushadi Kinkaran Shri Manava Uchu Manavo Vayam Tavanadeshikarino Dittijena Deva Paribhuta Set Sitarava Bhavata Kala Sa Upasam Hrita Prabho Karavama Takem Anushadi Kinkaran Shri Manava Uchu Manava Vayam Tava Nitesha Karino Diti Jaina Deva Paribhutam Setava Haravama Tekim Anushadi Kinkara Shimana Uchu Manavayam Tevade Shikarino Titidena Deva Paributta Saitava Haravama Tekim Anushadi Kinkara. Messages? Uchu Manavayam Tavanade ShikarinoUtta Saitava Bhavata Kalasa Upasamrita Haravama Tekim Anushadi Kinkara. Okay. Shri Manava Uchu. All the Manus offered their respectful obeisances by saying Manava, the leaders of the universal affairs, especially in connection with giving knowledge to humanity about how to live lawfully under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vayam, we, Tava, of your Lordship, Nideshikarina, the carriers of the orders, Ditijena, by Hiranyakashipu, the son of Diti, Deva, O Lord, Paribhuta, disregarded, Saitava, whose laws of morality concerning the Varnashram system in human society. Bhavata, by your Lordship. Kala, the most envious rascal. Saha, he, Upasamrita, killed. Prabhu, O Lord. Karavama, shall we do. Te, your. Kim, what. Anushadi, please direct. Kinkaran, your eternal servants. All the Manus offered their prayers as follows. As your order carriers, O Lord, we the Manus are the lawgivers for human society, but because of the temporary supremacy of this great demon, Hiranyakashipu, our laws for maintaining Varnashram Dham were destroyed. O Lord, now that you have killed this great demon, we are in our normal condition. Kindly order us, your eternal servants, what to do now. So responsively, please. All the Manus offered their prayers as follows. As your order carriers, O Lord, we the Manus are the lawgivers of human society. Hiranyakashipu, sorry. But because of the temporary supremacy of this great demon Hiranyakashipu, our laws for maintaining Varnashram Dham were destroyed. O Lord, now that you have killed this great demon, we are in our normal condition. Kindly order us, your eternal servants, what to do now. Papa Srila Prabhupada ki. In many places in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord Krishna refers to the Varnashram Dham of 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams. He teaches people about this Varnashram Dharma so that all of human society can live peacefully by observing the principles for the 4 social divisions and 4 spiritual divisions, Varna and Ashram, and thus make advancement in spiritual knowledge. The Manus compiled the Manu Samhita. The word Samhita means Vedic knowledge, and Manu indicates that this knowledge is given by Manu. The Manus are sometimes incarnations of the Supreme Lord and sometimes empowered living entities. Formerly, many long years ago, Lord Krishna instructed the Sun God. The Manus are generally sons of the Sun God. Therefore, while speaking to Arjuna about the importance of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Imam vivashvito yogam paktavam aham avyayam vishvasvan manave praha. This instruction was given to Vishvasvan, the Sun God, who in turn instructed it his son Manu. Manu gave the law known as Manu Samhita, which is full of directions based on Varna and Ashram concerning how to live as a human being. These are very scientific ways of life, but under the rule of demons like Hiranyakashipu, human society breaks all these systems of law and order and gradually becomes lower and lower. Thus there is no peace in the world. The conclusion is that if we want real peace and order in the human society, we must follow the principles laid down by the Manu Samhita and confirmed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Om Jnana Timiranda Shagananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vas Adi Gauda Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Haritanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So this section of the Bhagavatam, Lord Nrsingadeva has appeared. He's destroyed Hiranyakashipu, and now all the demigods that had been frightened to step forward are all coming forward and saying that they're relieved that he's no longer there. And not only is he no longer there, but also all Hiranyakashipu's soldiers are no longer there either. So Lord Nrsingadeva dealt with them all. Most of them were killed. There's a few ran away, but most of them got it. So everything's clear now. There's practically no more demons left. The demigods come forward and they're really happy. And then they offer their different prayers. So this prayer ends with, can the orderers now? What to do now? So this is the relationship of the spiritual master and the disciple, or the living entity and the Supreme Lord. As we step forward and we say, order me to do some service, whatever you like, I will do. Kinkaran, I'm your eternal servant. And Srila Prabhupada explains that there is a very relishable form of intimacy to be a servant of a master. Of course, it helps if the master is perfect. If you're a servant of a master that is exploitative, then it may put you off the rasa, which is what's happened, unfortunately, in the material world. Everyone is trying to lord it over everybody else, so nobody wants to be the servant. Everybody wants to push everybody else down and be the controller. And so Prabhupada's saying that if we want peace and order, then we have to establish the Varnashram system. And the Varnashram system is teaching people how to become servants, how to establish that relationship. Thank you very much. It's like I'm Rita Gopal is serving me now, and he feels very happy. Okay. So, and to bow, all these different things that we do, bowing down, they're very significant in Vedic culture. To bow down is an act of submission, to offer the namaskara, to offer a garland, to offer service, seva. These are all really very powerful gestures. And in society, things are abbreviated. So instead of people paying their obeisances, they just do the chopper. They're on the chopper program. Hariguru. And instead of saying Hare Krishna, we go Hariguru. 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 And palm hole, crabs. We had one devotee used to call the devotees crabs. Haribol crabs. It's from the Caribbean. So everything gets abbreviated and reduced. We're on the bare minimum as it is actually in Kali Yuga. We're probably doing nothing in the Vedic culture. So at least the obeisances. Obeisances means 2 hands on the floor. Otherwise, if there's only one, it's an offense. Please accept my offensive obeisances. So it's 2 hands. If you got your bead bag on, then you can maybe curl your hand round so the bead bag doesn't go on the floor. Or take the bead bag off from the forehead and the 2 hands. That's like bare minimum, to show respect. So then that gets reduced to Haribol crabs, and you just bounce your head quite off the floor. So you don't have to waste too much time to do more important things. So the Vedic culture was to help trainers to have that respect. It's a culture of respect. Respect everybody, whoever they are. Whether you're the leg, the arm, the belly, or the head in society, everybody has their place and their part to play. So by cultivating respect, being ready to offer respect to others and not looking for respect. So we all have a need to want to be respected. But the best way to fulfill that need is to establish a society where everyone's offering respect. Because you're part of everyone. So if everyone's offering respect, then you get respect as well. But if you're refusing to offer respect, then it's only a matter of time before nobody else is offering you respect either. So if you want respect, show respect. So Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord refers to the Varnashram. So there's 4 ashrams, 4 stages of life, depending on your age. And it's interesting, if you look at the ashrams, 75% of your time is celibacy. First 25, then 25 you engage in sex life, bring up children. 50 to 75 vanaprast, no sex life. 75 to 100 sannyas, no sex life. So 75 years of no, and then just 25 years. 25 years, first of all, trained. So if you've been a devotee for just 5 years and you want to get married, be careful, because the Varnashram system is 25 years training. Prabhupada said everyone in the movement should be brahmachari and every woman should get married. So what it means is she gets married to an upakavana brahmachari. He still follows the principles very strictly, just as much as he did. In fact, the grihastha is considered more elevated than the brahmachari, because the brahmachari is fasting from the feast, but he's not seeing the feast. But the grihastha is fasting in front of the feast, which is more difficult. If it's a Kadashi, you're just fasting, that's okay. But if everybody keeps coming up and saying, "Oh, have you seen this chocolate cake? Look at this cake." You're trying to fast on a Kadashi. Much more difficult, isn't it? It's got all cream on it and looks like. So for the grihastha to follow the principles properly, then he has to be trained. And then even though he's had that training and he doesn't break the principles and he respects his wife and everything is very dignified, and then at 50, then again for the next 50 years now to get free from the effect of the association of the opposite sex. That was the Varnashram system. 75% of the time was abstinence from association with women. So that has to be not underestimated. It's there because it's a scientific process. And then we have the 4 Varnas. So 4 Varnas is 4 political systems all operating at the same time. Communism works for the Sudras. Everyone gets the same house, same car, same amount of money. Everyone's okay because everyone's just the same as everybody else. So communism works for them. For the Vaishyas, capitalism works because the Vaishyas are entrepreneur. They know how to generate funds. They don't spend their money, they invest it, they accumulate wealth, and then they distribute the wealth in the form of schools and parks and beneficiary activities for the help of the Shudras. And then for the Kshatriyas, it's monarchy. They lead the army into war. They're the ones that fight. If there's a war, it's not the innocent women and children that get bombed. It's all the warriors out on a field somewhere, like Kurukshetra. They have the battle. Whoever wins comes back and takes over the kingdom. In nuclear war, nobody wins. Nobody can win a nuclear war because it destroys the whole planet. Everything becomes radioactive and poisonous. So there's nothing to win. There's no kingdom to take over. It's all just rubble and toxic. Nobody wins a nuclear war. So Kshatriyas were the kings, monarchy, and then the Brahmins were anarchists. They weren't taxed. They didn't live within society. They were aloof. They would come and they would go. They would just accept charity. So anarchy, monarchy, capitalism, and communism, all simultaneously functioning to accommodate all the different varnas. And then everything can work okay. So how's it going to work if they make everything communism? The Vaishyas will be so frustrated. They're getting the same as everybody else, and they know how to use the money better, how to make more. And the leaders, the warriors, they'll be very frustrated because they'll want to step forward and stamp out injustice and protect the weaker. They won't be allowed to do that. And then the Brahmins will be forced to sign on and get universal credit and all the other stuff we have to do to be part of the system. And the Brahmins are I just want to chant and preach and have Harinam. I don't want all this hassle. So anyway, in due course of time, when ISKCON gets bigger and better, then we can establish all these different systems and keep everybody happy. And nobody should be feeling, well, I don't really want to be a Shudra, I want to be a Brahmin. Because for a Shudra to be a Brahmin is very austere, and for a Brahmin to be a Shudra is very austere. So you just follow wherever your nature is. And at the same time, Prabhupada wanted some of us at least to be trained as Brahmins, and that's why we have second initiation, Dvija. You're born again. You may have been born one situation, but now you can have these new samskaras. You can be trained to be clean and punctual and worship the deity. And this will shift you into Sattva Guna. But not everybody can do that. But if you're getting second initiation and you're not doing any deity worship, then kind of defeats the object. The whole idea is second, so that you can do puja, and then you can become medically trained. So, the Varnashram, he teaches people about this Varnashram Dharma so that all of human society can live peacefully by observing the principles of the four social divisions. So people are so confused now, they don't even know what gender they are. And then, okay, once we've worked out that, this happens to be a male body you're in, okay, then we can look at which Varna you should be, And people are so confused about who they are. The Manus compiled the Manu Samhita. The word Samhita means Vedic knowledge. Sometimes the Manus are Vishnu Tattva, sometimes they're Jiva Tattva. All the Manus are sons of the Sun God. And the Sun God had the Bhagavad Gita spoken to him millions of years ago. And then all his sons take up those instructions, and they are the laws for man. Manu comes from Manu. And if we follow the principles and the laws, then everything works out fine. And if we don't, then there's problems. So in Kali Yuga, this age, you have 4 yugas. First yuga, apparently everyone is liberated. Then Treta, there's still some left, some traitors. And then you have Dwapara, and then right at the bottom of the barrel are all the dregs. Haribol. So we didn't make it back into the 3 yugas, and here we are in Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, Mandasamanda Mateo, Mandabhagi Yupadruta, everyone is disturbed, everyone is lazy. By default, we are lazy. You don't have to go to college to learn how to be lazy. It just comes naturally in Kali Yuga. Everyone's lazy. And because they're lazy, then they're also dirty, and they're also unregulated. Because being clean and regulated takes effort, whereas being late and smelly, anyone can manage that, right? So Mandasamanda Mateo in Kali Yuga, Prana Sasavya Kalabai. In Kali Yuga, men are short-lived, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all those disturbed. And then Buddhani Buddhikamani, please select the essence of all the scriptures. That by such instruction, their hearts can be fully satisfied. So, in this age, we need the essence, just the essence, nothing. There's only 11 instructions in the neck of instruction. Tanama Rupa Charitadi Sakirtanana. The essence of all advice is just chant and remember Krishna. That's the essence. And we haven't got time to go into all the fancy stuff. We haven't got time for it. We just want the essence, the essential. And then even the essential, do we have to do all this? Is there not something even more essential than the essential? But essential means it's essential. So when it's something's essential, you don't get any less than that, do you? When something's essential, then that's the bare minimum. 4 regs, 16 rounds, and 1 lifetime. You could do the 4 regs and the 16 rounds, but the hard one is 1 lifetime. 1 lifetime you have to do also. That's the hard part. A lot of people did the 4 regs and the 16 rounds, but they couldn't manage the 1 lifetime bit. The 1 lifetime bit is like, ooh, not sure about the 1 lifetime. Could you do a few instead? Not 1. It's a bit intense, 1 lifetime. 1 lifetime. Not 4 rounds, 3 regs, and as long as it takes. Or even more cheating. No, that's all you need. You just need 3 regs, 4 rounds, and you can go back, no problem. So that's bare minimum for Kali Yuga. We don't have to do much more than that. Just be cooperative, assist, tolerate, be humble, respectful, and you'll get there, you know. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's simple, but not so much easy. Simple. Sometimes we think if it's simple, it must be easy. But something can be really simple, but can also be very tough as well. But we had Janardhan Maharaj become a president for Vrindavan, and he was saying, you can't have something cheap and good. If it's cheap, then it has to be rubbish. And if it's good, then it has to be expensive. We're down the mall to buying diamonds and they're £5,000 each, and someone says, get them here, 3 for 50p. And you should be thinking, how can that be bad? Any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing you can just get married when you're 50. Or 45. I came to Krishna consciousness when I was 19. Right. For 25 years I had to get married. Actually, I wasn't far off 44. And it was helpful. I came just like full-time Sankirtan for nearly 25 years, and then I got married. So it was really, really helpful, you know. But I would say if you can't wait that long, or circumstances prevail in such a way that you end up in that situation, then whatever the situation is, wherever the circumstances are, and generally they're never ideal anyway. You know, we're always looking at everybody else and thinking, oh, the grass is greener if I was like him. And he's looking over at you and thinking, oh, if I was like you. Everyone is thinking that everyone else is in a better situation. Srila Prabhupada, in one letter, he says the trick, or the secret, actually, he said, the secret of Krishna consciousness is to be able to recognize that the situation that you're in right now, with the people you're with the wife that you're with the children that you've got, with the job that you've got, is Krishna's special mercy on you. He's arranged it just like this. That's the beginning of Krishna consciousness. So if you're all the time thinking, why does it have to be like this? Why does it have to be like that? Why do I have to be like this? Then you can know for sure that you're not Krishna conscious. Not even in the rudimentary sense. The very, very first beginnings of Krishna consciousness is you start seeing the hand of Krishna. Maybe you can't see his face, but you start seeing his hand. Oh, wow, Krishna did that. He put me there. He put me with this person who was really terrible to teach me not to be like that. And he put me with this person who's really good to teach me to be like this. So there was a really nice class yesterday by Chaitanya Charan, and his mother made the mistake of having him take a vaccination when he was 1 year old, which was supposed to protect him from polio. But because of the vaccine wasn't cooled properly, all the germs had multiplied, so he actually got polio. So she felt so terrible, that he was her first child, and Indian mothers especially, they so want to protect their child, and then to go and do something to harm the child. And so he said that when the doctor told her this, she just said this thing, which defined the rest of his life. She said, whatever he is lacking physically, God will make up for by making him stronger intellectually. And he said, and he was saying that with faith, there's also, faith can be an asset. You're born with faith, so it's like an asset. But faith is also a choice. When you reach that point, you either make a choice that, oh, there can't be a God. Why did that mistake happen? Now I'm like this for the rest of my life. Forget it. It's probably just all void. Or you can make the choice. God has done this for a reason. There's some special reason for this, and it's going to be beneficial for me in some way. And he said he was super fast at reading everything. He remembers practically. He understands things so quickly. So he's got so much mercy in one way, and so he's seeing it like that. That's a special favor that's been given to him, And that'll be the challenge as you practice your Krishna consciousness over the rest of your life, is when these situations come up and you have a choice whether to have faith or to use this as an excuse to not have faith. That's your choice. You have to make the choice, So if you're in a situation where you don't get much training, and suddenly you have children and a wife, and still all these anarthas and material desires are strongly in there, these samskaras, because we don't get trained very well in Western society, where promiscuity is very much promoted. They use promiscuity for advertising, so the female form, the male form is used to entice people to purchase products that they don't need. So you're tuned in right from the word go to be attracted to these things, And then, like if we were just a fresh slate, even then it is difficult to be brahmachari and aloof from attraction to the opposite sex. What to speak of being badly trained in the first place, They say that when someone is learning to play the piano, it costs one price for the person who's never played the piano, and it costs twice the price for a person who's tried to play the piano. Because first of all, he has to unlearn all the wrong things, then he has to be taught the proper things, so it takes twice as long. So if you've learned all the bad things in Western society, you've got to unlearn them and then learn the good things, So it's more difficult. But then at the same time, you can say, well, this is Krishna's special mercy that I'm in this situation, because by me pushing through this and becoming a good grihasta, I will learn so many things that I can share with other people then that are also born in a situation which is compromised. Whereas if I had just come from a pure Brahmin family and been brahmachari up until I got married, then when people are struggling with all these things, you'd be like, what's your problem? Just follow the principles. Are you crazy? But if you've been through it and you know how tough that is, then it means that you can encourage other people by learning yourself how you've gotten out that situation. So then you can think, okay, Krishna's done this so that I can be a better preacher. Yes, Kartikeya, probably.
kindly order us your eternal service, what to do now.
Yeah.
Do they really mean it? Because we have been seeing these prayers, all of them are just saying, okay, you are in trouble, you need this, that kind of thing. And he will be doing also. It's not really self in this service, your devotion service. And in this prayer also you can see the Manula saying, okay, you are in trouble, you say that thank you very much. But get a eternal service, what to do.
Yeah.
So they really mean it.
Well, they mean it on one level. They mean it on the level of, because there's 3 levels of devotee, and the demigods are generally kanishtas, which means that they are materialistic devotees. So they're prepared to serve, but they want facility. So they're saying, you took the facility away, we couldn't serve. You brought the facility back. Okay, now we'll serve. So it's not unconditional. It's conditional service, basically. It's like, okay, you provide me a nice planet, a nice situation, which is carefree, and I'll turn up for Mangalarti every morning. Don't you worry about that. As long as I get a silk dhoti, I'll be there. But if there's no silk dhoti, then I'm not turning up. If Krishna's not going to provide for me, then I'm not going to. And we're all Kanishnas. Well, personally speaking, most of us are. We're doing things conditionally. We'll be nice and we'll do but only if people smile at me and there's salt in the subji, and I get to do this service, and I get this amount of time off, and I get this, then we're okay, right? But when it's not, then all the toys come out the pram. I'm not getting to do this, and and then we find out, we maybe didn't realize. We thought that we were unconditional, and then suddenly, when the conditions aren't there, then we're not so keen on wanting to do it anymore. And we just lay down the tools and flop over. Normal service will be resumed as soon as possible. So that's conditional. And it's not that Krishna's, okay, you guys go down to the hellish planets. Okay, you want to enjoy yourself, you want some fun, okay, there's a body, you live for 10 million years, there's 50 wives, there's a planet with mangoes that are 3 kgs, and there's no skin on them. When they drop on the ground, it leaves gold, you can make jewelry out of it, everything's laid on. Okay, whatever you want, Krishna's, if that's what you want, okay, he'll facilitate. As long as you follow the system, then he'll facilitate. But then the wise demigods are thinking, okay, but all this is really is repetition of birth and death. There's no real permanent advancement here. Let me take birth in Kali Yuga, in the earthly planetary system, and assist in the Sankirtan movement. And I go back in one lifetime, which is that amount of time for a demigod, one lifetime. We're running around like little ants, and you just see them dying and going back to Godhead, passing out a few books. And suddenly they're like, okay, I'm going to join these. And I just go back. Otherwise, you could be very. Look at Indra. How many times has he rubbed shoulders with Krishna, and he still gets miffed, and he wants the Parijata flower back. And he was just praying, and he accepted Krishna was God just a minute ago. He lifted Govardhan Hill. Obviously, that's the Supreme Lord. Then the next minute, he gets miffed again. So it shows how easy it is to become bewildered. Bhogeshvara Prasad Karnam, Taraprita Chaitanya. The resolute determination of devotional service is not there if you're bewildered by material sense enjoyment. So all these demigods are Kanishta, mainly Kanishta Adhikaris. So that's the way the Kanishta Adhikaris work. You give me facility, and I'll do my part. You take the facility away, and then have you heard of that expression, work to rule? You ever heard that? Work to rule. What it is, it's when instead of going on strike, the workers don't go on strike because they want to get their wages, but they don't feel they're getting enough wages. So work to rule means I'll do the bare minimum, and that's it. And then you give me prasadam, give me a trip to India, and give me whatever it is that you want. But I'll do the bare minimum for it. Work to rule. And then when you want to do the extra, when you want to go beyond what you're being asked for, then the devotional service starts to become transcendental. And then it goes beyond your limitations and your conditions. And so that takes time.
You mentioned chanting is quite important in yoga. So why is that?
Because we can't do anything else. And we can't even do that half the time. You would look at japa, the japa period, right? It's 1 hour and 45 minutes. First half an hour, everyone's fired up. We've got the bead bag. 45 minutes, the bead bags start going down on the floor. You know, Sanat Goswami says, if you're going to hold the bead bag, it should be in front of the heart, in front of the Lord in the heart. And then after like half an hour, the bead bag's down on the floor. Then another 15 minutes, the phones start coming out. Send a text. Another 15 minutes, everyone's out in the corridor having a chat about who's fallen down. And then 5 minutes to 7, everyone's back in. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So you can look at the health of a spiritual society by what's going on during the japa period. Everyone should be sitting there. You don't leave the japa period until you've pulled the 16th bead down, Prabhupada said. You should sit there. Every day he said there should be a clean bead bag. And every day when you sit down, you don't stand up until the 16th bead goes down, 16th counter bead. That's the bare minimum. And Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sakirtanano, Rupa Goswami is saying the essence of all advice is to actually chant constantly. And the only way you can chant constantly is if you chant those 16 rounds very attentively, because that gives you a taste. Shakrishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya, the taste is sweet, but it doesn't taste sweet until you chant attentively daily. And then a sweet taste arouses in the tongue. And then Mula Hantri, then the root is pulled out. Then you achieve a Sakti, because you're attached to the material energy, and the holy name pulls that out, and it makes that attachment on Krishna, so that you can't forget Krishna all the time, 24 hours a day. You're just focused on Krishna. So that's the process in this age of Kali. Sometimes you see devotees getting into puja, and they're doing all these pujas and these ones, and that's all they're doing. You know, there's a yuga behind. You know, they should have gone to Dwapara Yuga for that, or Treta Yuga sacrifices, or deity worship in Dwapara Yuga. But Kali Yuga, it's Harinam Sankirtan. That's the Yuga Dharma. That's what's prescribed. Because in this age, people are so unqualified, they can't do the sacrifices properly. They can do the puja, bare minimum puja, and meditation. You know, to be able to just focus for 12 seconds. To be able to just focus on one thing for 12 seconds is called dhyana. So for 12, you can just hear the holy name for 12 seconds. Did anyone manage that this morning? 12 seconds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's like 4 mantras. If you can hear 4 mantras, then you've achieved dhyana. And then multiply that by 12, that's dharana. So if you can chant a quarter of a round without thinking of anything else, just Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, nothing else, that's dharana, which means to hold the form. And for a lot of us, it'll take many years just to be able to focus on the holy name for a quarter of a round. The mind's just so all over the place. And then multiply that by 12, which is like nearly half an hour. And that's samadhi. That's when Chaita Prangana, that's when you go into the courtyard of the heart. That's when you leave the material world behind and you go into the... So it takes about half an hour. So imagine there's a big mountain and there's a crack in the side of it. And inside the crack is the spiritual world. And Krishna's saying, look, just come through the side of the mountain. It'll take you about half an hour and you'll be in the center of the mountain, which is like an oasis, a spiritual oasis. So all you've got to do is get through that crack in the mountain for half an hour, and then you penetrate through. Just got to hear the mantras, every one of them, for half an hour. And then Hari Bol, Goloka Vrindavan. So how long is it going to take is how long you want to mess around and not be serious when you're chanting. So every morning we get a chance to try and do that focus for at least 12 seconds, 12 times 144, 12 times 144, and just stay fixed. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, Kartika.
These prayers, since Lord Brahma started to speak, it has been a bit very purifying because we can reflect upon ourselves as well. That actually we are like that as well. Thank you for helping us. Now we will serve you. Now we will
Yeah,
assist in that moment. We can look back at us and we can see that we are also like that. And when Prahlad Maharaj starts speaking, we can really understand what pure devotional service is. This is all just preparing us for this whole part.
that's it. Yeah. Yeah, and Lord Nrsimhadev was angry with the demigods because they hadn't helped Prahlad. And they're like a little cautious to approach Lord Nrsimhadev. And it's eventually Prahlad that has to step forward and really pacify Lord Nrsimhadev. Any questions or comments? So nice to see you all. You've all come from Manchester, right? Oh no, different parts. Oh, okay. Glasgow and Manchester. And you're all here till Monday? Oh, okay. Okay. So there's, okay. I thought you were all one group. So, okay. Okay, nice to see you. You're welcome to come. Every Sunday there's a program at 1:30, Prashadam, and then we come into the temple room at 3. And there's class, Kirtan, and then Gora Arti at 6:30. So you're always welcome to come. Some of the devotees were in Manchester just recently and they were really pleased. They went upstairs and there was a beautiful picture of Kodnitai Mai Poshashi in Manchester. So they're your deities. They're the deities of the north and the Glaswegians as well. ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shishiko Nitai Mai Pashashi ki jai, Gaura Premanandi Haribo. All of you ki jai.
Dear devotee, just a small announcement. Please be informed that Karuna Bhavan will be closed for a private retreat today from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is in Karuna Bhavan today and he'll be taking a spiritual retreat. So Karuna Bhavan will be closed for that today till 5 p.m. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.